Don't forget to check out the main channel. My Ultimate Defense of Batman Arkham Knight Part 1 video comes out this Friday, hopefully. So if you're watching in the future, go check it out. With the shilling out of the way, hello, ladies and gamers. Have you heard of UndertheMayo? I have heard of him even before he started talking about DMC. A lot of his videos have sparked controversy. He tends to make awful takes. I have the feeling I'll need to talk about him again when he makes this video on DMC Devil May Cry, but for now, let's focus on one video. This is also the start of a very long arc of me defending Batman Arkham Knight. So, enjoy some of the Joker gameplay I have. I worked God knows how long for it. It's IDK, I plan to make some sort of video about it at some point, but we'll wait for now. And of course, don't harass the guy. Please feel free to debate me if you want. If you want to disagree, join my server. Alright, let's jump in.
I'm fucking shocked. I had no idea it could be this bad. Arkham Knight is hands down one of the most irritating, frustrating, and boring games I've played in years. It's not even bad in an interesting way. The whole thing is just wrong.
Well, we're off to a great start. Guys, enough of boring. It's not a criticism anymore. You guys have destroyed the meaning of it. Boring used to mean the gameplay or story has no passion, and because of that, it lost my interest. But now it's slapped onto everything. Gameplay I don't like? Boring. Story that I don't like? Boring. Throwing it out at any point is just lazy, because at the very core of it, we can't prove what is boring or not, simply because it's very subjective. Some people may say that stealth is boring, simply because it's stealth. And by that logic, does that make Splinter Cell Chaos Theory a bad game? Boring is too subjective. If we're going to give me a thesis statement, at least tell me the parts of the game you didn't like. The reason why I'm making a big deal out of this is that he'll never explain why it's boring.
So many people warned me about the driving sections, but no one actually gave me a sense of just how much of the game they take up. They made it seem like an inconvenience, something you have to tolerate and try to ignore. No, I swear half this fucking game is driving the Batmobile, driving around the streets and fighting tanks. Tank combat, just what you want in a Batman game. Oh, I'm gonna do this side quest and stop this bad guy from burning buildings. Let's get him. Oh, no, I have to chase him in the Batmobile, of course. No! Oh, the Riddler kidnapped Catwoman. I like Catwoman, let's go save her. Shit, I have to race around the sewer first, 4 laps? There came a point where I got so fed up with the game that I turned it off for, I don't know, a solid week, maybe more. I put out some other videos, played some indie games. Finally, I came back to Arkham Knight, not remembering where I left off. I hit continue and loaded right into a fucking tank section. Oh.
Alright, 1. The Batmobile does not take up half the game. That is blatantly false. It only shows up every now and again. A vast majority of the game takes place outside the Batmobile. The tank just feels more in the game because it's new. 2. Most of the side quests are out of the tank. Most of the Penguin side quest is tracking down the trucks from the skies. Two-Face side quest is super cool twist on the stealth system, again, outside the tank. Professor Pig is solely done with detective vision. Half of the militia missions, Hush, Deacon, Azrael, and more take place outside the Batmobile. 3. If you played more into the Riddler side quest, you'd realize that most of it is inside the orphanage with Catwoman. I guess you'd know that if you finish the game. And yes, he didn't even finish the game, something I will bring up several times. And 4, boo-hoo, the YouTuber had to take a break from the game just to feel better? Really? You get paid to play video games. I played through Redfall and DMC2, but that doesn't mean I have to quit the game or complain about it on my channel like that. At the end of the day, it's just a game. Get over that.
And when the driving sections finally end, you get thrown into melee combat and it's like whiplash. I can't even remember what game I was playing. What do all these buttons do again? How do I use the environmental attacks? I gotta look it up every time I open the game.
Bro, how the fuck did you forget to play the game? It isn't hard. 1 button attacks, 1 button counters, 1 button stuns, and 1 button evades. It's not robot science.
Why is it the same button combination as picking up weapons? Why are there more colored indicators to react to? Blue indicators, red indicators, glowing objects, glowing people? Too much crap on screen.
To answer all your questions, that's because unless you're up close to an environmental, near all the time the input will have you pick up the bat. The red countersign has already been in the Arkham series already. All Arkham Knight is doing is adding that to the charges that the thugs do, and the only way the thugs glow is because they are near environmental. If they weren't glowing, it would be incredibly hard to tell if you can use the environmental or not. All in total, there isn't too much on screen. This is borderline the same combat signs as the last games. These are overall very minor changes to the overall system.
The melee combat just doesn't feel as good to me. I remember when I first picked up City after Asylum and I tried to pick random fights in the street, I got my ass kicked right away and repeatedly. In Arkham Knight, if I pick fights, everyone is just a pushover. I don't know how to describe this in detail, it's just a feeling.
Yep, there we have it. How am I going to respond to something that's a feeling? Because the combat is the same as in City, but with a lot of added improvements. If you have a feeling that you clearly are incapable of describing, then don't put it in your video. What's the viewer going to react to that statement? Well, you had a feeling, I guess, so the game's bad. Come on, try harder.
One thing I loved in Arkham City was how seamlessly they introduced the functionality of your gear into the exploration of the world. The electric gun would open doors, the freeze bombs shut off the steam pipes and could be used to form glaciers on the water, and the grapple would pull you across. You were always engaging with your gadgets, which made me want to use them more in combat because I remembered I had them. I'm not getting that experience in Arkham Knight. Instead, the solution to all these puzzles tends to be find a way to make the car do it.
This isn't true. Literally every time you are inside, you are using gadgets in some way. The Stag arc, the Movie Studios arc, and even the Hideout arc want you to use your gadgets. But even if you don't like that, the gadgets are used all over the Riddler side quests. Also, why is it the game's fault that you forgot the gadgets? We've been using most of these gadgets since Asylum.
But move on to what? The 50th Joker conversation?
You are using footage of when Batman nearly breaks. In that one scene, Joker shakes Batman to his core knowing that Joker is gaining power over Batman. So much that Joker nearly ends up killing Scarecrow. Batman nearly lost everything for a minute, which scares him. This is one of the best scenes in the game, if not the best. And yes, there is a lot of Joker talking, but that's because 1, he is literally in Batman's head, and 2, he is the internal antagonist. This one quote means that you know nothing of the game's story.
Arkham Knight does not feel like a Batman game. It feels more like... oh god, this is going to get me in so much trouble with people. It feels like Batman porn. There's a moment early on when you're rescuing hostages, and Batman stops in the middle of the mission to call in an airdrop where he upgrades his suit. And it's this gross, overindulgent scene of, oh yeah, fuck yeah, look at all that sweet gear. Batman's so badass.
Oh no, guys, they made Batman cool. Oh, the horror. The part that you're talking about is the exact same that happens in Arkham City. Batman gets a cool suit-up scene of him gearing up with the Batsuit, and Mayo didn't complain then.
I made it halfway into the Harley Quinn section and I gave up. It didn't matter that it was presenting me with more actual combat. I think I just didn't care anymore.
Big surprise, guys. The bitching, all of the previous points, and he can't even finish it. And yeah, that's how I'm ending this video. It was awful. There is more stuff I plan to get to later on, but it's not worth it at all at this moment. It's the same shit I've heard before with terrible original points against the combat. You know what the funny part about all this is? He doesn't even explain why the Batmobile sections are bad. He doesn't even try. This was a lazy, awful, and repetitive review. Next time, make some actual points. With that out of the way, check out the main channel, and the big announcement is coming. If you want to disagree, join my server. This has been Splinter3303, and I have a bit small pee-pee.